Is supporting this family as a team, and the volunteers are on our team, so they don't need to feel like everything's on their shoulders when the.
You're listening to the Local Global Nevada, the podcast where we connect Northern Nevada to the world by amplifying immigrant and international voices, bringing clarity to complex issues, and fostering dialogue that strengthens community understanding and trust. Through local stories with global perspectives, we show how diversity shapes and enriches our region. Brought to you by the Northern Nevada International Center. I'm your host, Yulia Rajek.
Hello, L.G.N. followers. Thank you so much for listening to our podcast and the first season of the Local Global Nevada, where we discuss things we do here at the Northern Nevada International Center, how we support refugees, and what we provide to our immigrant community locally. In our previous episodes, we've been discussing many different topics related to the refugee community and the immigrant community. We've met with some of the experts in immigration law, and today we are diving into another very interesting topic, and we will be discussing how local community support our immigrants and our clients. So we will be talking about the community response. And for that, we invited our amazing Amanda Mundt into our studio today. She is our volunteer program coordinator, so she will be able to share a lot of insights about how people in Reno get involved with NNIC and provide support to the immigrants and clients that we have. It is obvious that we're not able to do it by ourselves, so we are very much in need of support of our local community. So thank you so much, Amanda, for coming today. Since I have already introduced you, so again, would you please tell us a little bit about yourself? Why did you decide to work with NNIC, and how did your journey started with NNIC?
Well, my name is Amanda Mundt, and I started with NNIC as a volunteer. I found the organization on Just Serve, and it just seemed like a really great organization to help refugees and learn more about other cultures. And I volunteered for about a year before I started as the volunteer coordinator about 4.5 years ago.
4.5 years ago. Okay. Mm-hmm. What did you do for the clients at the beginning? Like, what was the work, like the
as a volunteer, I was assigned to a family just to mentor them, and I would stop in weekly and check in and see how they're doing, and helped with a lot of things that answered their questions about their mail. They had questions about their mail. I brought my kids with me sometimes, and we would tutor their teenagers that were struggling in math. We also invited them to do activities with our family, and they just really became good family friends.
So how did it happen that you decided to come and work actually in the office and create that program for the volunteers and coordinate them?
So the lead case manager at the time just said we need some help with volunteer coordinating, and I guess I had done a lot of also collections of donations too with my church group, and so I'd been pretty involved as a volunteer, and so they just asked me if I was interested in the position. So I've been working part-time since then.
That's very cool. So what are the hidden issues that might happen with like volunteer coordination, if you can share that? And tell us also a little bit about the actual job that volunteers do and how you match the volunteers and clients together. How is the whole process looks like?
So when a volunteer wants to help, there's some paperwork and training that they have to go through first. We do a background check with all of our volunteers. And then we also get a survey of what volunteers are interested in helping with. The main areas where volunteers help are some of the big barriers that our clients face are transportation and employment and a language barrier. So those are some of the biggest areas where volunteers help. One of our biggest needs right now is driving practice. We have a lot of clients who have their learner's permits and they want to get their driver's license. And so volunteers are either matched specifically with one client or one family as a mentor or to help with English practice or employment, or they can also come to our office to help. We have English classes here at the office, and we have employment workshops weekly that they can help with.
That's very nice. So what is the primary motivation for a person when they reach out to you saying, oh, hey, I want to do something for the refugees? So do you usually ask them these questions of why would you like to be involved?
I think the motivation is different for everyone. I think as a general rule, our volunteers care about their community and they want to get involved and help and make a difference in someone else's lives. We have a lot of volunteers who are retired and they're looking for purpose and connection. We have some volunteers who were immigrants themselves, and they know how difficult it is to adapt to life here in the U.S., and they know what a difference their community made for them. So they want to give back, and we have other volunteers who are students, and they want to gain experience. And I had a volunteer tell me they love to volunteer for NNIC because of the culture experience. They said they love to travel and getting to meet people from other cultures. We learn from each other, and it helps them to connect.
Yeah, and I guess this is our primary mission here at NNIC, just connect globally, right? And have that cultural exchange in between different, communities, different people from different countries, which is great. Yeah. So do you know roughly how many volunteers, individual volunteers, do we have at NNIC? And
the number fluctuates a lot, but we have around 100 that are actively volunteering with NNIC.
That's a lot. That's a lot of people. And do they all volunteer on a regular basis, or are there a core group of people?
Yeah, so the volunteering with NNIC is very flexible. So we have some volunteers that volunteer daily. I mean, maybe not daily, but several times a week, and others weekly. Some that just help with a special event here and there. We have a lot of people who they travel a lot, so they might volunteer a lot when they're in town, but then when they're not in town, they don't. So it's flexible.
So there is no specific time that volunteer has to spend with NNIC if they want to work with us, right?
It really depends on their schedule and how they want to help.
Mm-hmm. Tell us a little bit about the dynamics. So when you match the volunteer with the client or with the family that we work with, how does it usually go? How does those relationship develop? Do you have any idea, any stories you might tell us?
I think that it really is, it's different when people first arrive compared to as they learn and grow. And I think that when people first arrive, they come with practically nothing, and they don't really know what to expect. They're excited to be here and happy to be in a safe place. And the way that we help focuses more on making sure they have food and a place to live, and some of the very basic needs. But our goal is always self-reliance. So volunteers can teach people and they're always teachers as they meet and visit, and we have some volunteers that are still friends with their families after 5 years or more, and then they become friends instead of mentors or I don't know, instead of their volunteer, they're more of a friend.
So they stay with that family for a longer time, right? And then
it depends. I mean, sometimes volunteers are just assigned to do one task. Like they might just take someone to the doctor, and then that's all the interaction that they have with that family. So, so some of our assignments are more long term, and others are just do this one task and then they don't.
Do you usually discuss with clients prior to match them to a volunteer, like what they particularly need, or is it like obligatory for them to have that service, or how does this work from this perspective?
That's more with the case managers. So the case managers are a lot more involved with the clients, and they know their needs. And so the case managers will then reach out to me and say, "These are some needs. Can you find a volunteer that would fit?"
Okay. That's very interesting. Okay. And how would you do that? Like, how would you, is it just the fit in terms of like the time availability, the skill set, or do you also think about like, oh, probably they are not matching together because they have different perspectives in life or whatever? Like how?
I look at a lot of different things. If someone's has a lot of medical needs, then a retired nurse might be a good match for them. Or if we're looking at employment, if there's someone who has similar skills, or they're looking for a job in the same area that one of our volunteers worked, then that would be a good match. I also look at where in town they are. So it's nice if the volunteer doesn't have to drive all the way across town to meet with their family. So yeah, I look at a lot of different things to try to match people.
That's very cool. Do you have any like nice success stories of the relationship development in between volunteers and the families? And I know that many of our families would like give a feedback about their volunteers as they become a family, or like they become their like American parents, so this is very interesting to just observe how local community becomes a family to like a foreign family, to a refugee, and this how they learn about the culture here. They exchange to give, they learn to give back as well. So, do you have any specific stories like you would like to share?
I'm trying to think of specific stories. I know of a volunteer that takes kids to the library weekly, and they've really developed a really nice relationship. I can think of a lot of the families that let's see. I was just thinking of my success stories. The family that I mentored at the beginning, that they just bought a house in Fernley, and that was such an amazing step for them, where they had to start from. They grew up in a refugee camp and had never had running water or electricity, so they had to learn a lot and they're doing well, doing really well.
Yeah, at the same time, I also know, Amanda, that sometimes volunteers struggle with kind of understanding the perspective of the refugee family, and there are like issues happening in between them, like tension or something, and then eventually it develops into something greater, right? So because obviously the difference in the perspective, or like how our clients perceive this life, American life is so much different, right? And many of them are just not used to think about bills or like long-term goals and things. Do you have any interesting stories you could share like in this regard? How the volunteer would overcome these misunderstandings, and how would like the clients learn?
Let's see. That's a tricky one. I think that sometimes volunteers can get a little bit overwhelmed with all of the, clients have so much that they need to learn and so much that they're dealing with that sometimes
in a short-term period,
yeah,
right?
especially at the beginning, that sometimes volunteers can feel like they need to take on all of those problems and all of those issues. But it's important for volunteers to understand that it's not their job to fix all their problems, and that if there's anything that comes up, that they can always turn to me or to the case manager to help and get support. And that NNIC is supporting this family as a team, and the volunteers are on our team, so they don't need to feel like everything's on their shoulders when families bring struggles to them.
How would you support the volunteer in this situation? What would you do? Like, do you provide any kind of trainings, or do you just hold the meetings and try to explain the cultural perspective?
We start with we do a volunteer training at the beginning of before volunteers start, just to give a general overview of our programs and to help them to know who to contact when things come up. And whatever the struggle is, we'd have to tailor the help to what's needed. But yeah, I think sometimes the case manager will get involved, or we also have a medical team that can help, and the legal team, and so there's just a lot of support at NNIC depending on what struggles the clients are going through. We can provide that support so the volunteer doesn't feel like they have to.
Yeah, and like they're alone by themselves, right? Yeah. What is your strategy to find volunteers?
Well, most of our volunteers, I hear about the opportunity from our website or from other volunteers. We have, I was thinking of one particular volunteer that she shares the opportunity with everyone she knows, and I'm surprised how many people I'm like, oh yeah, I'm volunteering because I know this person who's already a volunteer. So
word of mouth works the best.
Word of mouth works the best. We also had the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. They had one of their marketing person reach out and said they wanted to help, so they put up posters in all of their buildings, and they also support us with food from the Bishop Storehouse. So we have a lot of churches that have actually reached out to us saying, "Hey, we want to help," or they're also students we've had students at UNR also needed volunteer hours, and so really most of my volunteers have reached out to me, so I don't have to do a lot of recruiting.
That's interesting. And this is how we slightly move to another part of your amazing work, Amanda. So you don't only work with the individual people as volunteers, right? We have a network of the local organizations that support our clients. Would you mind to share a little bit about that and how you establish those partnerships, and what particularly are you looking for when you're trying to establish that connection with organizations?
So a few organizations that work with us, the Katie Grace is one that they donate household items to our organization for when clients first arrive. And let's see, the 1701 group is a big one. They donate clothing for school children, actually for all the children. They let the little ones shop too, even if they're not in school. They have a program that they do with the schools to make sure that the kids have clothing, and they do special shopping trips for our clients to get clothes. And then also our clients can shop in their thrift store for free. So that's a community support. We just started working with Dress for Success that helps women to have the clothing that they need for employment, and they also help with networking for women looking for jobs.
How would you find all those partners? Like, do you have to look for it, or is it also like a natural kind of cooperation in the...
Everyone was a little bit different. Some of them I found through volunteers. Volunteers said, "Oh, there's this great organization. I think they could help your organization." And so I've reached out and said, and learned more about what they do. Others have been, like with Dress for Success, the case managers were saying, our clients don't have interview clothing. So I just went online and looked to see if there was anybody out there that can help. And so I found them online. So it has to do with, and I think Katie Grace was a volunteer, told me about that one. And the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, that's a church that I attend, so I know a lot of people there. And I know that they help with a lot of community service. So
this is great. It's like, it's a big network of supporters around the town, and I guess in the closest community to us, right? People, I think people are not even aware sometimes how supportive with the community, the Sereno community is, right? This is very great, and obviously for the refugees, when they just arrive, they need so many things that not always just one organization can provide. So having that support is really important. And I believe the work you do, Amanda, is like really important as well. I know that also there are organizations and even private businesses support our mission as well. And one of them, they do some kind of not the auctions, but the campaigns for the holidays, right? Would you mind to share a little bit about that?
I don't really know much about that.
So like a giving machine initiative?
The giving machine. Oh, yeah. So, the giving machine is something that is through the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, and they put up a machine in the fall time or like Christmas time, so that people can donate money that goes to local organizations.
The nonprofits, right?
Yeah, and nonprofits. And it's an actual like vending machine where people can choose what they want their Christmas gift to go to. So our NNIC was one of the nonprofits that was chosen to be featured on that giving machine.
Yeah, and and this, I think, so this is how private businesses get involved in this initiative,
so
right?
Private businesses can buy things, and individuals can also buy things from that vending machine.
That's very interesting. And I know those vending machines were located in some kind of a store, right, locally.
Yeah, I believe it was R.C. Willey that hosted the, sponsored, I don't know if you call it, hosted the machine at their location.
At their location, This is very interesting. So why do you think, Amanda, it is important to be a volunteer?
I think that everyone has, I think as human beings, we have an innate desire to help other people and to connect with other people, and volunteering in any capacity just really helps us to connect with others and to give back and to help our community.
Yeah. And it's not always money, right? It could be time and anything else that person could provide. So, and I believe this is like the best thing to have here in the American society, because being immigrant myself, I know that this is not the case in other countries, and people don't usually volunteer and like give their time or give their resources to other people because they're very focused on their own lives. But here in America, I discovered personally that volunteering is a thing, and everybody at some point needs some support, right? So it is really great opportunity for us to give back to this community and let it develop further. Yeah. Okay. So is there anything else? So how would if we will have any audience who would like to get involved in this amazing mission and become a volunteer, how would they find you, Amanda? How would they reach out?
So I'm here at the office. You can always stop in the office or give a phone call or email to me. I just need your first and last name and an email address, and I can go ahead and start you on the process of becoming a volunteer.
If you're interested in getting involved with our mission and support our clients, you're always welcome to visit our website and email on the address that you find there, or you can just show up and come at the reception in our office and just leave a note for Amanda that you'd like to get involved and you'd like to be a volunteer. And so then we will work it out, I guess, right? Thank you so much, Amanda, for coming today and sharing your amazing work, the work you do, and the whole process on how the volunteers and organizations support our mission and how they support the clients. We really appreciate your work, and thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you for inviting me.
Thanks.
I have one more thing I want to.
Yeah, sure.
Maybe you could add it in. I forgot to mention the Peace Feast.
Oh, yeah.
So one of the other community organizations that supports NNIC is our Peace Feast. So I have one of our volunteers, Jay Steerley. He was a volunteer and helped with transportation and a lot of different things, and he got together with some members of his church and he has I believe he teaches at UNR and has connections with students, and got a group together to provide dinners for our families, welcome dinners. So every few months they put on a welcome dinner, and we invite the newly arrived refugees to come and partake in a meal and just connect with the volunteers and connect with their friends. And it's a really great way for the refugees to connect with each other too, so that they can find their own community here in Reno.
Yeah, which is very great, right? So sometimes the clients come and they don't know other people from their community. So this is a great opportunity for them to meet local community, to meet each other, and just establish those connections. That's great, yeah. And again, this is something that I believe Jay came up with this idea and just shared with you, right? And you just decided to put it together, and it worked, and it worked really great.
Yeah. It's been a great opportunity for volunteers and also for the families to connect. And I love to watch the kids connect at those events.
Anyways, it's all about creativity too, right? So how you can help the surrounding community. That's great. Thank you so much, Amanda.